Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Pacific Grand Western Railway. Today, I was going to start out with a simple repair video, trying to get this little Revell SW7 running. For any of you, my returning subscribers and people, you might recall a couple of months ago, I put a brand new drive band from supposed to be from Revell in this. It still did not want to work. So today, I'm going to take it apart and see if we can get this fixed. But first, while I was having my coffee and getting prepared, I have this. I'm going to set it here for you. Let me get the camera. This is what a Lionel 484 Northern daylight locomotive. And I'm going to turn it into a bit of a start off with a bit of an introduction to this locomotive and some information onto why all us seasoned modelers tell everyone in the hobby do not buy a 1980s or Lionel steam engine. And I will show you in a few minutes why. This one is the Lionel version. Bachmann also had the daylight out in both Southern Pacific, and I believe they had a American Freedom Train engine too. I'm not 100% sure, but this one is a Lionel daylight, and they also had the Freedom Train engine and set. And yes, if you see it on the track, if you look at the drive wheels closely, they all look to be pretty nice shape, right? Well, I'll show you in a minute why we tell all you folks not to buy one of these. And if you do, if you can get it really cheap, and you can find a Bowser or another good 484 chassis, like I did in Surrey, BC on my other one. I converted it over to a Bowser Northern chassis and made a really nice running engine out of it. However, there's a lot of them, and this is going to shake up a lot of collectors out there too, when we say they have them on sale for $150, claiming, oh, they're made in the 70s, and oh, they're classic, and oh, they're worth a king's ransom because they're older locomotive. Well, any Bachmann in the 80s and these Lionel engines, not to knock Lionel, but they were made by Kadar, and any locomotive with the 80s that's made by Kadar, I'll show you the reason why we say they are not worth $150, and not to buy them if you can. If you see one at $150, run, and I'll show you why. With that being said, I'll put the camera back up here. I'll adjust it a little bit here. And I'll get into the reason, showing you why they're not worth their money. This is this one. The tender is good. I just body mounted the coupler in its original place, and I'm putting Rapido 36-inch passenger wheel sets in it. All passenger engines and cars have 36-inch wheels. I am short one. I'm gonna have to make a order to Rapido for some more wheel sets or go and see the lady. Now, this is missing its screws. I got this used, and I got some damage on the steps, which is going to be replaced, and I got a little bit of repair here to make. But I'm going to put different steps on it because it's no longer going to be a daylight engine. It's going to go into Pacific Grand Western Railway. Now, these are easy to tell. Well, this one says on the bottom Lionel. That's easy to tell. And the easiest way to tell these are Kadar drives is they have a plastic chassis under here. And this one, for some reason, yeah, this is out of whack. That can be. Put back up under there. That's no problem. But this is a pancake motor in it. But this is the reason they. I'll open this up and show you. But you can see how the wheels go out of order. Their axles snap and break, and this one actually it actually came right off the axle. It broke right out of the axle. That is a common problem with all these Kadar drive locomotives. And why, when we see them on eBay and some of the places, Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and Kijiji and some of those places. We see them listed for $100, $150. Is the reason why we I wish they would keep all one kind of screw head. Why we shutter. And yes, you may get a good one. It may run for a while, for heaven knows how long, but any engine of this age, a Lionel tank is going to be suffering from this problem. And it may run for a week, it may run for 2 weeks, or it may do like my one in Surrey, go 4 inches and have that come up, trouble. And as you can see in the wheel sets, this one, I glued it, super glued it back in. But these what they have. We'll take this one out, show you. What they have in here, ladies and gentlemen, is this part of the axle is plastic. If you can probably see, I don't know if you can, how well you can see that. I'll put it up to the camera. You can, I don't know if you can see in there, but you'll see one of these things is cracked. And what happened when they make these things, yes, this nylon and everything is fresh, and they press these wheels into them under pressure. And what happens as the time wears on, and this nylon gets older and starts to shrink, it'll snap and crack under the pressure, and you will have your drag wheels coming off. Now, why they did this and not like the old engines, make a solid axle, you'll have to ask somebody at KDAR. But this is the #1 reason why we tell everybody do not pay more than $15, $20 for a 1980s vintage Bachmann. Or actually the daylight, any of the Bachmann steam engines of the 1980s. I've seen it happen to their 280 consolidations and their 282 Mikados as well, along with their other northern drives, their big northern locomotives, and some of their other Texas locomotives as well. Anything made by KDAR will have this plastic drive system, and as you can see, that they just snap. So that and the Lionel Daylight and the Lionel Freedom Train engine are the same way. They're made by the same manufacturer. They may even be the same body shell. I'm not sure. They are a lovely body shell, yes. There's nothing wrong with this body shell. It's a beautiful shell. Outside of this depth is broken, but for me, I'm going to replace that anyway. No difference. But no, it is a beautiful shell. So if you can find on eBay, if you're lucky enough to find the Bowser conversion chassis for these, it uses the cylinders and the valve gear, everything off of these with a Bowser chassis, drive wheels and motor, like I used in Surrey. You can just set this body on, you can have yourself a lovely daylight locomotive. But that is if you want to do that kind of work, and if you can get the locomotive cheap enough. But again, as a seasoned modeler, I would not tell you to buy anything over $25 for a Bachmann locomotive. And for you collectors out there, I'm very sorry to rain on your parade, but just because they're made in the 70s or 80s does not mean they're worth a king's ransom. As you can see by this. If somebody was to buy one of these and pay $150, take it home, put it on the track, have this problem, I don't think they're going to be very happy. So with that clears that up. This one here, and now we're going to go on to our repair video, and I'm going to briefly I'm going to put this away briefly. I'm going to briefly set up my test track here so I can show you what this locomotive is doing and why it needs to be repaired. Now watch it. start to work like a charm when I'm going to open it back up. This is a 1956 Revell SW7. Complete and original. Well, except for the one handrail I had to make. The drive band I put in was ordered for, supposed to be a replacement drive band, but people returning subscribers will probably notice I put my rubber bumper baby bumpers on the end of it so that I do not crash into the. Okay, we'll turn this on and see what we got. I'll show you what it's doing. That. Nothing. It's spinning. Yep. Now it's not even going to go forward. Yeah. He picks up slowly. We get in a bump. Except in reverse, he's not going to go at all. But the forward, it will go forward. So, we will open it up. I have a hunch that the O-ring I bought, supposedly was a replacement, is not the right one. But since these locomotives have a clutch in them, it could be the clutch as well, so we will find out together. So I do need my I'll leave them screws in there for the daylight. I'll take them out later. And these Revels have two screws back here, one each side. There's some more screws coming. Let me get our power pack back here. Incidentally, got a newer power pack for the workbench. It's an MRC 1300. Torpedo says don't run these with air engines. But seeing I'm a DCC man, or DC man, and staying away from DCC, that's good for this type of work. Now, let's see what's happening in here. Yeah. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I have removed nice thing about this one is I can leave it plugged in and it has an on-off switch. You don't have to keep unplugging everything all the time. So now we're going to go to the bottom. The clutch is working. As I figured, yes, that drive belt, unfortunately, they said yes, it's supposed to be the right one for this locomotive. And you can tell it's all on, it's just, unfortunately, too big. So, replacement drive belt did not solve the trouble. Yes, it is about an eighth of an inch too big. So, this is the clutch in here, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see that it speeds up, it slows out, engages, it backs off, see, and things. So that's all working. It's just under power. The belt is too big and she slips. So, unfortunately, there's not much I can do with that right at the moment. So, that takes care of this repair video. But at least I show you what is wrong. And if I can find the belt, proper belt for these things, I will do another video replacing it. And I will show you where to get the proper belt for it. For those of you that still have one of these locomotives. I also need number boards for this one. That is the only thing I'm missing now. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call this a video. And maybe tomorrow I might have a small unboxing video. We'll see how it goes from there. But for now, thank you for tuning in.